stand still. It's like I'm the last of the real. It's like I'm the last of the real.
Okay, cool. Ready? Yeah, set. Cool. How you been, bro?
I've been all right.
Yeah.
Like I said to you earlier, it's seeming like the end is nigh, but I'm keeping my head up. Do you know what I mean? The world is a mad place to be right now. But
Last time I saw you, we made a short film together with Paddington Arts. It was
that wasn't the last time I saw you.
Actually, oh yeah. It was the last time I saw you.
It was the first time I saw you.
First and last time. But then I bumped into you recently as well. It was at an event. Yeah. Was this place?
Yeah.
Before we made Animalistic,
Yeah.
where were you before then?
Where was I? When we made that, I was. How old was I at that time? How old was you at that time?
I think like
It might spark
15,
15,
14 maybe.
Really?
I was young.
You was young then. Okay, maybe I was like maybe 17, 18, and before that period, I was quite a troubled young person. Got into a lot of trouble growing up. Didn't have an easy start in life. Grew up in care. Got kicked out of school. Got into trouble. Hung around with the wrong people. All of that sort of thing. But then when we made that short movie, that was part of obviously a course, like a funded course. But when we made that is when I was in my transition of, wanting better for myself and wanting to change my life around. That's sort of the period where I met you. Yeah.
Did you find that online, or did you go through someone to?
Someone reached out to me. I think it was through like a youth charity that I was involved in, something I was involved in, and they reached out to me like, oh, this might be something that would be good for you in terms of like, maybe you might want a career in media or something in the future, and this might be able to help you. And then it kind of went from there, really.
Okay. Because I saw you, it's funny because back then, because when you said you were a youth worker at one point, right? Or yeah.
So that was sort of the beginning of where I started getting involved in some sort of youth work.
'Cause at that point, I had seen you on what's it called, Newsnight.
Yeah.
What was that about?
So the way I got into youth work was originally, obviously, like I said, I went down the wrong path. I got into a lot of trouble, but then I started volunteering for those same organizations that were helping me when I got into trouble. For instance, like the same youth offending team, that's sort of probation for young people that I used to have to go to. I then was volunteering for them. I had access to my own files of a young person that had to go there, stuff like that. So yeah, it started off through volunteering, and I was doing work with like homelessness and raising awareness for homelessness. That's another thing that I went through, living in homeless hostels and stuff like that. And then the Newsnight thing just came through me just being someone who was passionate about what I'd been through, making a difference, believing in young people, and talking about changing my life around and volunteering and stuff like that. And one thing led to another, and then BBC Newsnight, I done Sky News. I took part in a competition with the Sun newspaper as well, where basically I became a finalist in this competition, which was about people speaking about things that they're passionate about. And I was speaking about, giving young people who have been through hard times opportunities. And then I ended up in a Sun newspaper. From Sun newspaper, then a lot of media opportunities started opening for me. And then that's where the Newsnight thing came about. But the guy I was on Newsnight with, Jeremy PAXMAN.
Yeah.
Very well known to be a tough person to be interviewed by. Do you know what I mean?
You must have been nervous, man.
He's a legend in the game. Do you know what I mean? Someone who makes, MPs look like little children. He doesn't play. Yeah. But one of the loveliest, people I've met in sort of the media. Such a nice guy. Behind the scenes, behind the stage, he was, such a nice guy.
Did you have a conversation with him before, like getting on to?
Yeah, so I had a really good conversation with him in the green room. And funny enough, to this day, I'm 30 years old. Yeah. He's the only person in my whole entire life that has ever guessed my cultural background, just off the back of, me just saying my name. So I told him my name, my first name Khalid, and my surname is an Irish surname. And he was like, oh, Khalid, my surname. And then he was like, are you maybe like Pakistani and Irish. And I was like, how the hell did you guess that? Because my first name's Arabic.
Yeah.
That could be from any Muslim country. Do you know what I mean? Arab country. It could be. I don't know how he guessed, but he guessed my background. And I was like, yeah, that is first and last time anyone's ever guessed my background.
He looks intimidated.
Say that again?
He looks intimidated.
He is intimidating.
Yeah.
He is intimidating. But when I was doing a few of these media things, you know, you can only be intimidated if you don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? When I was going up and I was doing these things, even now, you know what I mean? Some people would be intimidated, you know, even doing a podcast or having a mic in their face and a camera in their face, you know what I mean? But when you speak about things that you're passionate about or you care about, no one can't sway you or make you feel away or make you, do you know what I mean? Like there was certain media things that I done, like I done Sky News and stuff like that, where they tried to be a bit harsh with me about certain like statistics of young people this and that. You know, they tried to do like media spins and stuff like that. But when you're coming from a place of passion, can't no one make you feel away, do you know what I mean?
I saw you with two other people on that in the interview.
Yeah.
And who were they?
I can't even remember, you know, it was a long time ago. But
because you look so young in that video.
Yeah.
And there were the two older people, and then you got thingy as well.
Yeah, I sort of became that sort of
yeah, there's just like, is he,
you know, we need a young a young ethnic person to
fill in the gap.
To fill in the gap. And it's weird because for a period of 2 years I sort of became that guy for a lot of things, and I kept getting calls from like radio. I was on BBC Radio one minute, I was on this radio station, that radio station, and a lot of this stuff was around the riots as well, because when I started doing that stuff, it was just post riots. So a lot of people just like these media things, I became sort of a go-to person for opinions on stuff to do with young people and the riots. But yeah, often it would be me and then a couple of older people. And usually they would put me with people that disagree with my opinions. You know what I mean? So if they were getting me to speak about something to do with the riots, there would be me who's talking about what a lot of young people have been through to lead them to being in the position of wanting to get involved in the riots. But then they would put some very conservative opinioned people on there who have totally different opinions in terms of like, lock them up, they're savages, you know what I mean? So often, a lot of the times with the media, they like to do that. They like to put contrasting opinions together. So I was there as the young person who, you know, is talking about from young person's view, and then they were the opposite.
Did you get any backlash from it?
Not backlash, but you know, I had a few debates. For instance, like I said, when I done a few radio stuff, I had sometimes people trying to argue with me on radio. You know what I mean? And these times I'm like,
but you're like really young at the time.
Exactly.
So how? But you were new to all of this at a really young age.
Yeah. I was new to it, but at the same time, you know,
no media training.
No media training at all.
You just walked in like.
I just walked in as someone who's passionate. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I said. Like when you're speaking about something that you know you're passionate. And the thing about me as well, yeah, a lot of people aren't happy to be proven wrong. Like I'm happy to be proven wrong. If you show me an opinion that is against my opinion, but I feel like, oh, you know what, they've got a point, I would admit it. I ain't got too much pride to have my views changed. You know what I mean? So I'll go in with that opinion. If you said something that, you know, I'm not just out of pride going to be stuck in my opinion. If you've said something that contradicts what I'm saying and I believe it, you know what I mean? So when you go in like that, you know, you're not going to have much of a problem, because if I was wrong, I'd admit it. And if you've got a point, I'll say, oh, okay, cool, you got a point. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not stubborn like that.
Just obviously, if you're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
But back then, before before the media, during your hard times, what was the impact and what was the thing that started it? The whole going through that troubled life.
So personally, I grew up in care.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an open book with a lot of things, as long as people don't, you know, use certain things against you in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like, so again, being an open book. My mom passed away when I was very young. I was 2 years old. And then I went into the care system. I lived with multiple different families, and I didn't have much structure in my life. I grew up in, you know, very rough areas, estates in, you know, my part of Northwest London. And yeah, like I didn't choose to be someone that wanted to go down that path. It wasn't glamorized for me. I literally had no structure. You know, I was getting brought from family to family. And yeah, I was out on the streets, you know, around the wrong people in rough areas.
But going from family to family, did they like ever try and maybe give you some advice or some structure into leading on to a better path?
People would, but you gotta remember, like within foster care, a lot of time you're only with people for certain periods, so it's like there's no stability, and when there's no stability, it's like you don't even fear consequence. You know what I mean? Like if you grow up with a mom and dad, and you go out and you do some badness, like I'm gonna go home and they're gonna be upset with me, and you know you've got to live with them. You've got that's gonna be your parents for life. So consequences might be for life. Do you know what I mean? But when I'm with one family for a few months and then one family for a year, and then I didn't really fear what they were going to tell me. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really have a fear for what they were going to say to me, because I was like, I could be with you one day and then one minute I could just get put in a car and then I'm going to the next family. Oh, this is your new mom and dad. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't really care. I was just out there. Nobody could kind of handle me in that sense.
You didn't care going from family to family? Or were you had like some sort of hope or like...
I mean, it did have a lot of you know, in hindsight, as you grow older, you realize how much stuff impacted you as an adult, but you don't realize it as much when you're young. It just you become desensitized. It becomes normalized to you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not having a family was normalized to me. Being put in a car and taken to a house and then getting told, "This is your new mom and dad," that become normalized to me. Stuff that
that must have been like weird, a blur to you. Yeah,
exactly.
That's so strange.
Yeah. Sorry to. By the way, I know that
no.
Your podcasts normally seem a bit humorous to me.
No. We've had some cool. We've had some serious ones. We've had some very serious ones too, man. Yeah. But I've got to switch up, man. It's not everyday laughing. Some people's faces. Sometimes you maybe have a serious conversation.
Yeah.
But I've had that comment as well. Someone said they reminded me of someone from like the podcast with Kanye West that came out recently.
So Drink Champs.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Someone told me that they remind me of one of the guys at Drink Champs, because anything that Kanye West says, he'll just burst out laughing.
Okay.
You look like him as well.
Do I?
Man.
Can you edit in that guy's photo?
Yeah.
A little comparison, a little side by side.
Because you know when Kanye West, because the guy that laughs at everything from Drink Champs, he interviewed, what's his name? Big Sean, because Kanye West said he's like, my biggest regret in the industry is signing Big Sean, and the guy just burst out laughing. So now that Drink Champs now interviewed Big Sean, and he's like, I just want to cover things up clearly, yeah. I didn't mean to laugh like that. I just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tried to play it cool. I didn't really understand what Kanye was trying to say. I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
Oh, the light skinned guy. Yeah. It's probably the only white guy that's there, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like he's half and half. I feel like he's from somewhere.
He's got something in him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them, to be fair. Like, Kanye is a very hard person to understand. Like, is he being serious? Is he making a joke? Do you know what I mean? Like, how would you feel interviewing a Kanye? Do you know what I mean?
I can't lie to you. The way he is in the industry, I'll be very intimidated.
Yeah, exactly. He's a very hard person to understand. Like, you won't know, is he being very serious with you? Is he making banter? Is it both? Is it, do you know what I mean? I feel like he's but at the same time, it's like Kanye is a very conflicting person for me. Like, I feel like he's a genius, but at the same time, he's so genius that sometimes he can slip in stuff that's not genius that people think is genius just because he is a genius. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think his shoes are ugly as hell. You know what I mean? But he's such a genius. He's such a genius that they're like, he's a maverick. Like, he could bring out, like, I don't know, like a piece of cloth that you wrap around your foot.
Yeah.
And because of the level of where people see him as, it's, he's a maverick.
Yeah.
Look at these.
But one thing that's not genius though, he bought a house today across the road from Kim K's house.
I read that. That's a bit stalkerish.
Man's gonna be peeking for his fucking, just like...
That's a bit stalkerish, I'm not gonna lie. But there you go. It's like, on one end, he's like this maverick, this genius, but then he's human, isn't he? He's got... You make mistakes, you know what I mean? At the same time, you got to remember there's mental health issues there as well. That's involved. So it's like... Some of the things that people might see as genius are mental health. Some of the things that people see as mental health are genius, and it's a weird, conflicting thing. Do you know what I mean?
Was there anyone you look up to?
Me?
Yeah, before going into the media industry.
Would you say in terms of like personal or like media?
Personal, both media. Anyone you're like, do you know what? I want to be that. I want to follow that route.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. So for me, when I was younger and when I was doing a lot of badness, I never saw good in myself. Like I saw myself as not worthy, as a road you, as a, you know what I mean, not worth anything. And I didn't see good in myself. And through the trauma and the stuff that I've been through, I was kind of like, I had like a F the world mentality. And one of my sister's friends' dads, he ran a charity, and he was just one of the purest, most good-hearted people I've ever met in my life, who never saw bad in anyone. You know, he knew all the young people in the area that were involved in the worst stuff, people who just got out of prison, people, and he saw good. He was such one of the most purest-hearted people. He ran a charity, and these times I was out doing madness, hanging around with what you can call a gang, whatever you want to call it, and this guy had me come into his house, volunteering for his charity, like doing the maddest stuff, like cleaning chairs and, you know, picking weeds, like because he's got a charity event and stuff like that. But these times I was going out and doing madness and getting into fights at the same time. But it was just like that person, he could only get me to do these things because he was like the most purest hearted person. And he only saw good in me, and he always believed in me. And he was like, you know, not to go into too much detail, but when I got into a lot of trouble as well, he is part of the reason why I didn't go to prison. Like I was borderline going to go to prison. I got involved in a lot, like in terms of trouble with the police. And one time I had a big case. It was to do with, you know, getting into fights and stuff. And he wrote me a letter to go to court, and the judge read it out and said, "This is the reason why I'm not giving you a custodial sentence." And that man, you know, rest in peace, he passed away. And it was just like, after that, I just wanted to prove to him that what he saw in me was right. You understand? Because I didn't see good in myself. He saw good in me. And then when he passed away, it was like, I'm going to prove you right. You know what I mean? That is a man I looked up to. And this is one thing I would say to people is like, try and see good in people, even when they don't see good in themselves. Because like the saying goes, isn't it? Hurt people hurt people. You know what I mean? I work with young people, and a lot of the young people I work with, they're coming from very traumatizing situations, same as what I did. And it's mad how much people don't get praised for the good. They always get told for the bad. Oh, you know, they go to the police station, they get told for the bad. When they're getting in trouble in school, they get told for the bad. You know what I mean? So like, you're always getting told about the badness you do, but when you do a little good thing, you're not getting no praise. You know what I mean? So I always try and bring out the good in people, and the amount of change that I've seen through doing that, that's a man that I look up to. If you want to talk about media, someone that I grew up listening to and watching, who's a very complicated person, similar to like a Kanye or someone, but a lot of people don't understand him as well as I do, because I've read his books, watched his movies, listened to his music, read his poems. Tupac.
Okay.
He was about to make a guess there.
Yeah, I was about to make a guess. Yeah.
Who did you think? I said poems, bro. Not many people do poems, movies, books, and everything. Do you know what I mean?
I was gonna say wait, but maybe like someone like Biggie, maybe, or
okay.
Yeah.
Nah. So for me it was Tupac, and the thing about Tupac that I always related to is he was true to however he was feeling at the time. He's got songs that are like, you know, F the world, fuck life songs. And sometimes I feel F the world, fuck life. That's how back then, do you know what I mean? But he's also got your dear mamas and your keep your head ups and your, do you know what I mean? Them type of things. And you know, as a person, sometimes you need a bit of both, you know what I mean? So whatever mood I could feel at the time, I can put on a Tupac song and it can hit me and it can relate to me. And he was a very intelligent man, and he had a very good heart. He was all about, you know, bringing up community and giving back, and, you know, people who have grown up in, you know, poverty and stuff like that. If you watch some of his interviews, the man was a genius, like, to me. So that's a man in the media that I looked up to.
Are you still working with youth?
So yeah, at the moment I work with young people, like specifically high risk young people in semi-independent homes. So they're young people that on the transition to becoming independent. So they've usually left care, but they're still, you know, involved in a lot in terms of like maybe crime or self-harm or, you know, a lot of things that are considered to make a young person high risk. But at the same time, it's like trying to prepare them for being independent. So that's my full-time job at the moment.
Are you allowed to share some details about it or no?
Obviously I can't give names. I can't.
No
give,
names or addresses or anything like that. But I just mean like details of like is there like a kid who's just come like the worst kid within that realm who's like where their story has like shocked you completely?
I mean, I can't go into specifics, but you know, on a general sense, you know, I've dealt with young people that have been sexually abused. You know, very deep things. Young people who have, you know, seen their parents be killed. I've dealt with young people who, you know, have grown up in countries where, so a lot of young people I work with, some of them are asylum seekers and stuff like that. They grow up in countries where they've, you know, war-torn countries where they've seen their family be murdered in front of them. Like there's really, 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 really dark stories. And the thing about the young people that I work with is like, before you get a young person that you work with, you get given a bit of their background, stuff that they've been through and stuff that they've done as well. You know, and the majority of the young people that I work with, they've had, you know, like I said, very, very dark things that they've been through, but a majority of them have gone from home to home, secure unit to secure unit, prison to prison, this to that. And, you know, a lot of them have fought against authority or fought against youth workers or social workers and stuff like that. I've never had a problem with one young person that I've ever worked with against me, ever, because even no matter what they've done, no matter what they've been through, the way that I take them is upon, you know, I always show them the same respect, and I show them that I'm here because I care. I'm not in it for the money, you know what I mean? If I was in it for the money, I'd be in another job. And there's other stuff that I do on the side that, you know, that gets me the money. I'm in this because I care. And even, you know, God willing, when one day I'm a millionaire, I'll still go back and, you know, do things like this and maybe run my own organization. But the thing that separates me from a lot of other people within sometimes the industry is that these young people know that I'm there because I care. Like I genuinely want to see them do well. And I've been through similar. There's not much in this world that I haven't experienced myself or I haven't seen someone directly close to me experience. So it's coming from a place of experience and empathy, you know what I mean, and care. So yeah.
During the time, so with these kids when you started, have you seen progression with them?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you an example as well. When I first started youth work on a more voluntary basis, I wasn't getting paid back then. When I was like 17, 18, and I started volunteering with like in like youth centers and stuff like that. There's a young person I worked with in a youth center who his family within his area was notorious. All been to prison, all the guys that you don't want to mess with. All the brothers that were known as, you know, the worst guys in the area, you don't mess with them. And he sort of had this reputation to uphold, and he was known within the area, you don't mess with this guy, yeah? This young person. And funny enough, he was only a couple of years younger than me at the time because I was young and I was volunteering. So I was like 17, 18, he was only 16-ish, you know what I mean? A couple of years younger than me. But when I first started working with him, you know, he was involved in the most, and like I said, seen as this guy and that, and I worked with him on a few projects after that, and we just used to have really deep conversations about life, and you know, and he showed me a side to him that the people in his area didn't know. To them, he was like this crazy guy you don't mess with. To me, he showed me his vulnerability, his what he's been through, you know, the fact that this person that he's trying to portray as a facade is for this reputation that he needs to uphold. Anyway, we had deep conversation, and I saw so much progress within the time that I worked with him within this youth club and these projects. And then I bumped into him about 4 or 5 years after, and he was a youth worker working with young people just as I was. He was doing a similar job that I was doing with him at that time. And I'm telling you, this guy was seen as one of the worst out of the bunch, you know what I mean?
Looked up to you.
And he said to me, and he came up to me and he said, you're one of the main reasons that I've got into this industry, you know what I mean? Like that I'm working with young people and that I didn't go down that path. And that to me was just one of those things where it's just like, it spurred me on so much more. Because, you know, you don't do these things for the praise. You don't do these things for, you know, for awards or for claps or for anything. And sometimes you don't get to even see the difference that you make. You know what I mean? Like, but the impact that you have, sometimes you may not ever see, or sometimes you may see years later, or it might not even impact them until a long later. Like, I might deal with a young person, I may work with a young person now that's 16 and he's getting into all sorts of madness and and I'm trying to get through, and then I feel like it's a lost cause because he's gone to prison. And I might see him in 10 years and he may say to me, oh, I did go to prison, I did this, I did that. But one day I was sitting in my cell and it clicked, and then something you said to me hit me then. So you never know in life, you know what I mean? No one's a lost cause, nothing's a lost cause.
Yeah.
And, you know, your impact, you may not ever see it, or it may come 10 years.
People sometimes don't even realize they have time as well. Like, there's always time to change.
100%. You know, some people, unfortunately, are 40, 50 and they're sitting in a prison cell, or they're, you know, on certain serious drugs, or they're, do you know what I mean, in certain very deep situations, and then they change. Some people change overnight. It's not, you know what I mean? People's timelines are different, people's lifelines are different, and, you know, no one's a lost cause, and that's one thing I always try to remember.
Do you know what's so crazy as well is that sometimes, like, when rappers or just people in general go to prison, they always come out converting to Islam.
I would say, well, not just Islam.
Not yeah.
But a lot of people, they find solace within faith because they're in a situation where that's all that they've got in them situations, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time when people go to prison, unfortunately I've got a lot of close friends that are incarcerated, people I knew when I was younger that are incarcerated. And one thing I've realized is a lot of the time, the only time that they've ever got to sit down and think is when they finally have, like, end up in prison. It's the only time that they've ever sat down and read a book. It's the only time that they've ever sat down and really deeped life, because they're so caught up in all of the madness.
There's just so much chaos right in
so
the
much
head.
chaos.
Yeah.
And then they finally sit down and, like you said, some turn to religion. Some finally, you know, study something that they've always wanted to study. Some, become spiritual. Some, you know what I mean? So for a lot of people, it sort of grounds them, and it gives them that opportunity to really, you know, all you've got is time to think. You know what I mean? You're stuck in a box, so you got time to think, you know what I mean? So for a lot of people, they find something, you know what I mean? Well, I've got, you know, one of my good friends that I grew up with that was like an older brother to me. He'd done a long time in prison. He never had no qualifications, but while he was in prison, he done an electrician course. He came out within a year. He was running his own electrician company, making over 6 figures, and he had people working underneath him. And a lot of those people he started employing people that have been through the prison system and stuff like that.
Wow, good on him, man.
There you go. So there's a lot of stories. That
Yeah. So obviously, I've never been to prison, but like, how, like, do they actually give out courses?
Obviously,
I ain't never been to prison, but like, how?
I mean, you look like you're checking out.
I bet. Do you know what it is? I bet you'll. But I bet you catch people that look like me in prison, innit?
You catch people who look like everything. You know what I mean? You like.
All I'm missing is a teardrop.
People from all walks of life. People from, you know, the crimes can range. You know what I mean? And you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of like mental health. There's a lot of reasons why people end up in prison. And then you got obviously what they call, I think in America they call it white collar crimes. I'm not sure what they would call it here, but that's like stuff that, you know, you're even a businessman in a suit gets involved in certain stuff like fraud and, you know what I mean, God knows what. So people can look like anything and end up in prison. But yeah, in terms of courses and stuff, obviously it depends on what prison you're in, what they specialize in.
Is it?
There's prisons that have music studios. There's prisons that have practical carpentry or practical mechanical, practical this. You know, you can do anything. Like you know.
No wonder sometimes rappers come out of prison and they drop bangers.
Well, yeah, exactly. Funny enough, I was reading a story about that. I was watching there's a Vice. There's a short Vice. It's only like 3 minutes. I watched that today. Funny enough, you bring that story up. But I was watching this short Vice clip where they're talking about how Vybz Kartel, you know, has still been daily dropping tunes within prison. You know, I mean, he's been in prison a long time. People don't realize. But you know,
what did he do? Why is he in prison?
It's murder. He's linked to murder, isn't it? Conspiracy to murder or something like that. But You know, the guy is still the king of a genre. How are you still the king of a genre? You've been in prison for about 10 years. That's crazy. Do you know what I mean? But that's down to his musicality. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna speculate on whether he done.
But he's aware that his fan base is keeping him going in prison, though. Like he must know. Yeah.
Know. And there's probably people that come within that prison that are fans of his.
Standing outside his cell, like, yo, drop another one.
Exactly, but he's, you know, it's like saying, you know, imagine a king or queen of another genre in prison. You know what I mean? Like it's to that level. Like he's the king of dancehall. It's like saying, you know, Beyonce in prison. Do you know what I mean? It's like she's the queen of her genre. He's the king of that. He's the king of dancehall. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that, you know, but it's a very sad thing for someone like that with that much opportunity to end up in that position. But, you know, you make your decisions in life, and you know, if he did it, he deserves to be there, I guess.
Do you find it strange how people look up to him though, if he's like actually linked to a murder? Do you feel like?
I think it's weird because I think
it's not good for your soul.
I think with him, with stuff like that, it's weird. Sometimes I think people can separate the crime from the person. So even though it's murder, I feel like people separate him from that. They don't consider him as a murderer or something. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people don't even believe that, you know, he's guilty of it. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I haven't looked into the evidence. I don't know. They say still may be corrupt. But there's certain things where I guess you shouldn't even separate the person from the crime. And that's, you know, let's not go into the R. Kellys and that. You know what I mean? But someone like him, you know, he deserves for him to be associated with the crime, because even if the mad thing about someone like that is some of his songs were talking about, you know, well, along the line, when you listen in hindsight, if you listen to an R. Kelly song in hindsight, you realize that a lot of his themes were along the lines of the stuff that he was involved in.
But nobody knew that though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, people did. And it's weird because he got away with it for so long, even though there was still talks of it. It wasn't in the forefront. You know what I mean? I've literally gone on my Spotify, and, you know, there's an option on Spotify to say, don't play this artist. So even like if it's playing like let's say you go into a playlist and he's on there and it's playing random songs, it won't let it play this artist. I've got a couple artists on my don't play this artist still. I'm not gonna lie. When I can confirm that you definitely are, within my head it seems like, yeah, you definitely were. You know what I mean? If I'm leaning towards the guilty, then you're going on my don't play this artist. I'm not gonna lie, one of my conflicted ones is MJ. You know what I mean?
Everyone is still on the fence about that one.
Very on the fence with him. Very on the fence with him, because and what's so mad is that if he is guilty, to me it's like burning in hell. You know what I mean? If you're guilty, burning in hell. Like if you're guilty, I don't want to ever hear you in my ears, but I'm so conflicted whether I think he's guilty or not. And funny enough, I watched a documentary on him recently that was there's this.
Was it the Channel 4 one?
No. It's
the Channel 4 one is the Channel 4 one is.
No, it might have been on. No, it wasn't that one. I've seen that one as well. But I watched this thing called Faking It, and they read people's body language. So they've got I think the McCann's on there. They've got that devil that is Jimmy Savile. You know what I mean? Confirmed nasty guy who should burn in hell. And then, there was one where they're breaking down Michael Jackson's body language. And a lot of the time they're saying that he's telling the truth. But the way that the perspective that they've came from with him is that he believes himself a lot of the time. So you see, when you're telling the truth sometimes, you may not necessarily be telling the truth, but you believe yourself. Do you understand? So it's like me saying...
so that has an impact on his posture and the way he's saying...
On his body language.
Yeah.
So in his head, he's telling the truth.
But at any point in that...
it's okay.
But at any point in that documentary, were they like, actually, no, see, if you see his movement here, is a bit...
Some bits. But there you go. It's even that was 50-50. I watched that documentary hoping that I can finally... be like, yo, do I not ever listen to this guy?
I've come to an answer. This is
because I'm a very scientific, assess, a logical person. Like something needs to make sense to me. I'm not just gonna believe something just because it hearsay or da da da. So when I watched that, I was like, okay, cool. These are experts within their fields. They're gonna break down someone's body language and they're gonna tell whether this person is lying or not. This is gonna solve it for me. I'm gonna know whether I cancel this person or not. And it done the exact same. It left me in the same position than before, because half of them were like, you know, he's telling the truth here, and then like, oh, he's a bit uncomfortable here, and I'm like, that doesn't help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but in the Channel 4 one, at the very end of the documentary, they saw, you know, that red jacket he wears in what's that music video called?
Thriller.
Yeah, that's the one. One of the victims actually burns it. It was gifted from MJ to him.
Yeah.
And he burns it on live TV. I think, to me, I feel like that was like enough to actually even know that he.
What does that do? What I mean,
I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like that jacket is worth millions. He could have just sold it, you know?
Oh, okay. I don't think I saw that actually.
Yeah. It's like
so there's 2 parts. I saw part.
Yeah. So, but this footage was during the credits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's when I was like, damn, even the gloves gone, everything gone.
The real thing.
The real thing burned in front of light. Yeah,
that's
gone.
Crazy. Okay, that says something to me. There you go.
That's something to me.
Like I said earlier, I said if you know, if I have an opinion, if someone presents something to me that makes sense, I'm like, that's gonna lean me towards the guilty.
But then again, someone might turn around and be like, that was just a replica of a jacket, innit? You never know.
Again, there you go.
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake.
Do you know what it feels like? Do you know what, like, for instance, someone like MJ feels like? It feels like it's funny enough, it sounds similar. I've never realized that. OJ. OJ, MJ. You know what I mean? OJ is such a conflicting thing as well. You know what I mean? Guilty, not guilty. You know what I mean?
Like, people are still talking about OJ to this day.
To this day. And people are conflicted. I haven't watched a lot, but the thing that for me was the kind of killer on the not guilty aspect was that glove situation. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did it shrink? I don't know.
Oh, the US flipping the law. Yeah, the judicial system is fucked.
But when you say US, it's like the thing about when you say US judiciary system, what part? You know what I mean? They've got 50 whatever states. Each state has different systems, different laws, different. Some places in America, so backwards. I watched a documentary recently.
So backwards.
I watched a documentary recently, and this is very messed up. Is that someone in America can sexually assault a minor, rape, it's not sex. You can rape a minor, have a child with them, take them across to another border, marry them in, I forgot where it is. It's one of these backwards, like down south places, marry them. And then because they've married them, they are not punishable by the law, because within that state, if you marry the person, then you're it's not punishable. Like you're technically not considered as a pedophile. Like America
That's
is
so
a
backwards.
weird place. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some places in America where the laws are just don't make sense, and it's down to what part of America, what their mentality is there, and
What's that documentary called?
What did I watch it on? I can't remember. It was a couple months ago. But you could probably search. I think it was like a BBC iPlayer thing.
Yeah.
But America's just America is a mad place. I see America. Like when people made that joke, like it's like a human experiment. You know what I mean? Like what happens if you give people too much of this, or too much freedom, or too much guns, or too much of this? You know what I mean? America. Is
they're like what do you call them? It's like clients to experiment with, or like just. Random. And
what does humanity do with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With this law, or with this
and Americans
access to guns, or with this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like humans are humans, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, are humans here on aliens to America? But what makes it difference is like, what's societal norms? What's the laws? What's the da-da-da-da? It's like here we have a very, very high knife rate. If we had legal guns here, we'd probably have a very, very high gun rate. Do you understand? Because it's like in America, they say there's something crazy, like, I don't know, my statistics may be off here, but like 100 guns to each person. Do you know what I mean? Something ridiculous like that. Imagine that in London. Like, guns are illegal here completely, except for, I think it's rifles and shotguns, but you have to have a license. Is very strict, and that's for
prison sentence is higher if you carry a knife. That's what I heard.
Prison sentence, is higher.
Is higher if the person's carrying a knife in the UK.
What do you mean then in America?
So let's say no, just in general, the UK, if you're carrying a knife, let's say you get 5 years. If you're carrying a gun, it's 4 years.
No.
That's what I heard.
That's
correct me if I'm wrong.
You've heard wrong.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
6 month minimum with a knife.
Yeah.
And
6 month minimum.
6 months is the minimum sentencing for carrying a knife. But
That's nothing though.
I think that's a specific age as well, and depending on like the case and stuff like that. Because I've dealt with young people that have been caught, and it's like it's their first offense, and it's like they've been given an opportunity. But I think it's when you're an adult, it's a 6 month is usually the term.
That doesn't sound like a lot to me.
But then guns is 5 years, so guns is a lot higher, and I guess that probably helps us in terms of why the gun rate isn't, as bad as America. But I think that's one thing that's changed over the years as well. When I was younger, gun crime was quite bad. It seemed to be a lot higher. Knife crime was a lot lower. Now gun crime seems to be reducing, but knife crime seems to be going up. But yeah, I don't know whether the law or sentencing has had an impact on that, or whether it's just like culture within itself. Do you know what I mean? Whether knife culture has become more of a epidemic without the sentencing being an impact, or that's something that I find that might be an interesting thing to research, because I definitely think gun crime has gone down, knife crime has gone up.
I heard it in school when they spoke about it. I think that's why, because that was years ago, like when I was in year 7. That's when I heard that.
I think sentencing might be a big part of that, actually. Yeah, because when I was younger, I think gun crime was a lot. The sentencing probably was a lot looser, because like gun crime was very bad when I was younger. And then knife crime wasn't as bad as it is now. But now, some of the stuff that you're seeing is crazy. You know what I mean? People carrying zombie knives as long as their leg, and it's like it's crazy. And like here's another little personal story, but no word of a lie, within the past 3 months, I have been in 3 situations where I've seen someone I don't even know pull out a knife, and I've got involved and, tried to calm situations, and luckily not lost my life. And, you know what I mean?
When was this?
Within the past 3 months. It's happened a few times.
What the youth at the youth center?
No,
just
out in public.
Really?
Out in public. Like in the area, in my area, around my local area. I see one situation where a guy in a shop was arguing with someone. He took out a machete, and I tried to calm him down, but then his friends came in and no, not a machete, sorry, a meat cleaver. Took out a meat cleaver while he was arguing with someone. I tried to calm him down, but lucky his friends came out and they dragged him away, and he put that away. Saw another situation where, without going into too much details, but a man was arguing with his girlfriend. Sorry, not even arguing. He was, I think, torturing his girlfriend at a time within her house. I heard commotion. She come running out. I tried to help her. He come running out with a knife, tried to stab her. I stopped him. He tried to stab me. Tried to stab me a few times. And then luckily, neither of us ended up getting stabbed in that situation. And then police came out of nowhere and tasers, boom, 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 stopped that situation. That was one situation. Then there was another situation where a young man of the age of probably about 18, 19 was getting chased by a grown man with a knife, and then he ran into a shop, and then I tried to stop the guy with the knife, and eventually he threw the knife. Like, I've seen a lot of situations where knives are just becoming so normalized. My little brother, he's 15. His one of his friends from school's dad was recently killed over a silly argument in a bus. Like, he was arguing with some guy on a bus. The guy pulled a knife out, killed my little brother's friend, my little brother's friend's dad. Like, and I'm hearing stories like this every day. It's crazy.
That's mad.
It's like like knife culture is becoming way too normalized now to carry a knife.
God forbid, because I've never seen these situations. You've seen those types of situations. I've not.
I've seen it way too much.
I have not seen.
Way too much.
I ain't seen nothing as crazy as that's too regular. Like, that's just.
This is the past 3 months. I'm not talking about stuff from way before. Like,
Yeah.
All of these situations
This is
are recent.
Sounds like flipping Chicago,
what I mean?
Detroit right now. Like,
would like that, what with knives? Do you know what I mean? Like, look at a sad situation that happened, like tragic situation that happened. What was it, Brentford or something like that, where a man argued with, I think it was like an elderly lady or something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was mental health or something. He stabbed the elderly lady and a young hero. You know, I forgot. I don't remember his name, but you know, God bless him. He's an angel. You know what I mean? May he rest in peace. Jumped in and protected the old lady and got stabbed to death. It was only like a month or two ago, where this young man just, you know, stepped in and lost his own life for protecting someone. You know what I mean? It's a crazy time.
That's true.
It's a crazy time in many aspects. You know what I mean? It's a crazy time to be alive in many aspects. Oh, do you know what?
We're gonna say off camera.
Cool. Off camera, we were discussing. We're talking about cameras. We started off talking about cameras, but funny enough, when I met you, one of my friends had a camera, so we were doing that short movie. One of my friends had a camera. Do you remember what happened? Yeah. So we had a camera. We were on. Yeah. Don't say names. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll bleep that out. I'll bleep that out. I'll fucking scream that. I'll bleep out.
He doesn't like be. You know what I mean? He's a private person, but
are you still in touch with him?
He's one of my best friends. Yeah. He's one of my best friends from we were children.
I actually bumped into him about a year or two ago in Wembley Outlet. And I asked him then, bro, like, what happened to your camera, man? Did you ever find it? He goes, nah.
Yeah. So that was a crazy situation. That was a £700 camera. You can remember we were young them days. He put a lot into that. 700.
Yeah.
And he literally, I think he only had it down for like a couple minutes while we were filming and stuff. And it was with everybody's stuff. And he went back and his camera was gone like that.
But how could that? We were the only ones that were just there. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, like, it's a crazy world. Some of these people that do these things, you know what I mean, and I don't like to generalize, but a lot of the time they're people that are on drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're professionals with this stuff. Like they'll be in and out within seconds.
Fuck that.
Like, yeah. And I've seen this stuff. I've seen these people in motion. Do you know what I mean? I've seen, you know, I live in an area where there's a lot of, you know, crime and violence, and a lot of it is drug fueled. And when these the people that are on serious drugs do things, they, you know, you may think that because of the drugs they're not on point, but they very much know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're quick in and out. They know exactly what they're doing. That's how they get away with it for so long. But you know, funny enough, here's another funny story. One time I think I came back from work or something, and I was tired, and I was in my car. This was in the summer, and I leant back in my car, like put my seat right back because I was tired.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got like exactly home yet, but I was near, and I fell asleep with my window open.
Oh shit!
I was fully leant back, and I woke up and some guy was reaching into my car.
Oh, Specs, take note.
Trying to take my stuff, but these times I think I had like a blanket or something over, but he didn't realize I was there. He didn't think I was there because my back windows are tinted, and I think I was like there. And he was kind of like, he was leaning in. He thought the car was empty. He was like picking up my stuff. And I woke up and I was half asleep. I was like half in a dream.
Fucked.
I was like, is this a dream or is this not? But I was like, huh. And I was like, yo, what the F are you doing? Like, oh my God. And I swear to God, yeah, because I think I got hold of him. Like I grabbed him while he was doing it. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He was like, he started making stories and stuff. He was like, I haven't got food to eat or something like that. He gave me some story. I haven't got food to eat or something like that. And I was like, oh, you know, even though he probably was lying, you know what I mean? It might have been to fuel drugs or something.
Anything to get away from that situation.
Yeah, anything to get away. I was like, oh, my heart kicked in. You know, younger me would have probably beat the hell out of him or not believe that story. But I was just like, oh, get out of here, bruv. Do you know what I mean? He was mid stealing my stuff and he didn't see me, like, because I was like, right.
How do you wait?
Like,
is that how is that how desperate you are to rob something? Yeah, is that how hungry you are? Yeah, you lose so much consciousness of what's around you. He's so.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. Because he looked scared when he saw me wake up. Like I woke up and I was mid. Like I was like, oh, I just got up and I was like,
was that daytime or nighttime?
This was like, what do you call it? Twilight. It was like
yeah.
I mean,
like just before when Will Smith has to hide in the bathtub and before the all zombies come out.
Exactly,
yeah. When you hear the sirens, that's
great movie.
Yeah.
That movie made me cry. Like, let's be honest. But, very sad movie. But yeah, that was a weird experience.
Yeah.
That was a weird experience.
But I thought you were gonna say something about me. You're like off camera when I met this guy.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna speak about me. Like,
No. But that's what I'm saying. That whole situation where the camera got stolen was when I met you.
yeah.
And the camera got stolen is when around the period.
I can't lie to you. That like upset me.
Mm.
Yeah, fully upset me.
No, it upset me as well. You know what I mean? That's one of my close friends. You know, and he was like, he put a lot into that
because I knew how much. I was young at the time. I didn't quite understand, but I knew like that camera meant a lot to him.
Exactly. And without going into it, one thing that really upset me within that situation is the individual that was running the show, that was in charge of the short movie that we were doing, didn't show no empathy and was like, yo, let's continue camera rolling. Like no, my friend just lost. You know what I mean? My friend
back then it didn't occur to me.
You never saw me after that. That's what I'm saying. I left. I didn't come to the end of the filming. There was last scenes. I didn't come.
My days.
Me and him never came to the premiere. We were not involved after that because of her lack of empathy to the situation.
That's why you went there at the end. Because I was young.
Because she had no empathy. Like my guy just lost a £700 camera, and she was like, "Oh, come back. You need to finish the scene." Like what? Like my guy's.
And I remember as well, whilst we were recording, he was running in and out in panic. He was like,
yeah, exactly.
He was all over the gaff.
I think it was during a scene was still being filmed. You know what I mean?
You see, back then, because I was young, I didn't understand. Like, I don't know.
Even that film, like, let's be honest, like, I made an idea and it became something totally.
That film was all you, though.
It became terrible. What do you mean, all me?
You came up with the idea.
The original concept. And I still think to this day the concept was a good concept. But the person that was running it made some other person write the script. She was like, oh, you write the script. And then she started, like, twisting and turning. Oh, maybe this should be like this. And maybe that should be like that. And I was like, this is no longer my vision. Do you know what I mean? I had the original concept. Whatever this has become has nothing to do with me. And it didn't turn out too great. So I'm not even going to say the name of the short movie that we made because it's embarrassing, bro. Like,
no, I feel like it's all right. Let me tell them the concept. Basically, you know, like David, like David Attenborough, like he just films animals, right? Behaving badly. But imagine that, but with like hood rats. You have someone narrating hood rats in the area. But like, David,
let me summarize it. It's my original concept. Don't be like the lady.
Actually, no. Do you know what? I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete that bit. You tell them.
We should do that.
You don't even need to delete that. You don't even need to do that.
No. Do you know, it's your story. You explain it.
So what the original concept was within my head. I was like, I think within situations in life, we don't realize how animal-like a lot of things that we do are. We see ourselves as just these humans who are like way separated from the animal kingdom, but we don't realize that a lot of things that we do are very animalistic. So, for instance, like when we try and impress, like when males try and impress women, it's like they say like you're peacocking. Do you know what I mean? It's like you know how a peacock shows his feathers. It's the male that has these pretty feathers. He's trying to swoon the female peacock. You know, but I think there's a lot of concepts that were within the animal kingdom that we do as males. You know, a lot of toxic masculinity things. We beat our chest like gorillas. We're trying to show that we're this and we're that. A lot of things are very like animal-like concepts, but we don't realize that it's that. And that's where the original thought came from. And then I thought, oh, imagine that, you know, we done a documentary on human interactions, so specifically within, you know, the hood, the ends, and how animalistic certain things that we do, how we roll like a pack, how we like a wolf pack, how we do certain things.
Yeah.
And then that came from, and then there was the aspect of, someone narrating it like a David Attenborough sort of thing, narrating how animalistic we are within the hood. So that was the original idea. But
banging concept. That was a fucking sick concept.
Turn into what I wanted it to be.
Sickest concept.
Yeah. Because we, you know what I mean? Think about it, how much stuff we do.
What's up? It's a mad concept, isn't it?
Me and Spencer going to do it on TikTok now.
Look at these lot, bro.
You're still my ideas. Copyright this.
You don't fucking know. You don't know about the OGs, bro.
Listen, I'll take.
Leave the cameras, get out.
I'll take 90%. I'll give you 10%. You can run it. You can sell it to you on Netflix.
Bang, sickest concept.
Run it, sell it to Netflix. Just give me 90%, and you'll take 10%. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I think?
Watch this file get deleted now.
No, do you know what I think?
You know what I mean?
You need a sick narrator to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't so keen on the guy who did it though.
Do you know what? The guy who did it, he's a hilarious guy, but he just didn't do it in the vision that I saw it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? He's
yeah,
a funny
yeah.
guy, lovely guy. The guy that done it originally, but yeah. So I don't know. Do you like
The only way that would work? Think about it. Specs 80%, would be the narrator.
Yeah, that's a very simple and like.
That's what I'm saying. No. But it has to But the execution, like you need a sick narrator.
You probably couldn't do it back then, but now you can because on Fiverr you can find someone that does.
What
Like
you can
impressions. You can find
fucking on this Fiverr website. I feel like you can even find a whole new mum and dad, bro. You can find anything in that fucking website. I said you can even
it's
find
my
a
mum.
narrator,
I
not just
found
graphic
a Fiverr.
designers and editors. You can also.
I've never used that actually. But,
All I have to do is press David Attenborough in person and
Shh. We'll talk after this.
you know what? We got a little team here. You know what I mean? We got.
Would you actually remake it? Would you remake it?
I'd remake
New
it.
title, whole new crew.
Yeah.
Yeah?
We got a crew here. We got,
Yeah. Do you want to do it? Should we do it?
we got an
A whole
actor
short
here.
film. You on it?
Make it happen. Remember where you heard it first.
Exactly. Remember where you heard it first, you know?
Listen, if I see this on Netflix one day,
Yeah,
and then
I'm after him.
and I see the credits, and I see Specs, and sorry, bro,
You can see Spextopia,
You know what I
Spextopia
mean? And I see
Limited.
it.
When you see that Netflix,
you see original concept by Spextopia.
no, you know how we go on Netflix, you see top 10 and you hear the doom. And if I see fucking animalistic there, I'm pissed.
I see you at a red carpet. Some next guy is like playing the character, like some big person, like some Tom Cruise or something.
You're laughing at something else,
Like,
isn't it?
you know what I mean? It's got intense in here.
It's gonna get written again by these lot.
What's gonna get ruined?
Animalistic.
Oh, it probably will.
It's gonna go through
do you know what?
rewrites.
Anyone could do better than what it first was.
I wasn't off of that. Was it off of that?
I don't know. Was it a scripted thing that you guys were doing?
So, all I done was came with the concept.
Okay.
Some other guy. So the person who was in charge of this whole project, she put some random guy in charge of the script, and he wrote something that just totally wasn't my vision. Like to be brutally honest, he wasn't from a similar environment that I grew up in, and his vision was something totally else, and then her vision was something. It became something else, you know what I mean? So you would probably do a lot better, and I'd give you 0.5% for that. You know what I mean?
But remember, we were very young and we were beginners as well. So that's when I was actually fully introduced to filmmaking as well. That was my first time actually working with the crew.
Mm.
The concept was great. The execution was alright.
Yeah.
Like we were beginners. We were very young as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm a concept man. I come up with a lot of concepts.
I remember what you had said when your inspirations were like Will Ferrell. I remember all of that.
Oh,
I remember that when you're giving your little speech about the concept, you're like, I'm a big fan of Will Ferrell, and
I swear you got good memory. God damn, yeah, Will Ferrell. That's one of my comedic.
one of your
guys,
favorite.
yeah.
Yeah. It was one of your biggest inspirations. That's what I remember you saying.
Yeah, Will Ferrell in terms of movie wise is one of my favorite sort of acting comedians.
Yeah.
My comedy inspiration in general.
Mm.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
King.
Elite.
I saw him live, and I literally did no word of a lie. When I left, my jaw was hurting. My jaw was in pain. I laughed so much.
Did you see him live at the Apollo recently?
Nah, this was when he first came back. So he had done a hiatus for years, and he first came back, and then he came to Hammersmith. This was a few years ago, and I saw him there, and mate, my jaw was hurting.
I saw him live at the Apollo recently.
Comedian. Oh, you saw him?
Yeah.
Wait, I think I saw it on your social media, and I was slightly jealous still. Slightly jealous.
No, but my debit card wasn't jealous. I'll tell you that now.
Alright.
It was so
Money
expensive.
Man. All right, money man. I see your watch. Just tuck that away.
No, it was like the circle seats. It was like £100.
All right, yeah, rub it in. Rub it in. I just
No,
told
no,
you.
no, bro, that's too
my
much for me.
comedic hero.
No. For 1 hour stand up,
Yeah.
that's too
Well,
much
it's
for
Dave
me.
Chappelle, man.
I
Do
is,
you know what I mean?
it was worth it. Just for the experience.
It's
It
Dave
was,
Chappelle.
it was
That's-
worth it.
To me, that's the king of comedy. To me personally, you know what I mean?
I don't think he's like a real human being. How is this
Yeah.
guy so funny?
Yeah.
He's
It's-
not
it's
real.
everything about him.
He's
It's like-
not real. He's not real. How can someone be that funny? He's not real. It's
And,
not
and, and
real.
it's natural. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Some people are naturally just funny without, they don't need scripts. They're just naturally funny people that are also in comedy. But then you get some people who are just good at, let's say, comedy or acting or da-da-da, but outside they're not funny. But you could just tell with Dave Chappelle, he's naturally just a funny, his freestyles are hilarious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, me and you know, we both have worked with some comedic organizations and we know a lot of people within the comedic industry that, you know, are just naturally funny people, you know what I mean? Because me and you have interacted with them behind the scenes. Like, let me give you, for example, one that I'm really so happy to see how well they've done is Mo the Comedian. I've seen Mo the Comedian before he had got any of this stuff. And every time I used to see Mo, I used to be like, you deserve to be way big. You deserve to be global. Like your level of comedy deserves to be way bigger. He was grinding for years. People don't realize how he was grinding for years. I've seen Mo Comedian perform in a pub with 10 people.
But
You know what I mean?
but it wasn't Instagram that got him popular though. It was
Instagram.
What was it?
Instagram.
Oh, okay. But I heard he was a presenter before that. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what, maybe
Instagram.
Instagram gave him a boost. But
No, Instagram took him to another level.
okay, cool.
The
okay,
whole
okay.
Julie,
Yeah.
you know, it's like Barbados. That whole thing took him to another level. Do you know what I mean? But like
Him and his little Julie tunes,
Yeah.
the little remixes,
Yeah.
the old school garage, yeah.
But to bring it back to summarize, he is a hilarious guy if you
Yeah.
meet him in general. Like if he just chats to you and he tells you about a story about his day yesterday, you'll be laughing. Like he's a hilarious person in general. Some of these people are just naturally gifted comedically and they can transition in both, you know what I mean? They can do well on the stage in movies, but they're naturally gifted funny. Some people are just good actors in comedy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, big up Mo, man.
I remember even when I started Instagram, when I first joined, he was like everywhere. He was like one of the first comedians I saw online. The OG. He's almost like the PewDiePie of YouTube.
Yeah. But you know, it is like, this is like in a general sense, yeah. Like this is one thing that me and a few of my friends who have been in, for instance, music for a long time. So I work with a lot of musicians. A lot of my friends are in music. I grew up around studio musicians and all of that. But one word that we use for a lot of musicians that have been in the game for a long time and are prepared for the big stage, are prepared for big things, we call them seasoned. Like that's a seasoned artist. You understand? Like when he jumps on stage, he knows how to handle a crowd. He knows how to speak to a mic. He knows they're seasoned. They're ready for it all.
Yeah.
Now that
Born to
type
do
of
it.
thing transitions into other aspects. Comedians, there's seasoned comedians that are just ready for the limelight. They've been doing this game for a long time. You know, they've been doing shows with 20, 30 people. They've done shows with hundreds. They've done they're seasoned comedians. They're ready for the big stage. Someone like Mo, he's a seasoned comedian. He started off with the smaller stuff. He knows he's had heckles. He's had this. He's had that. He was ready for now. Look, recently he done O2. Like he sold out O2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's a seasoned comedian. If you had someone who was suddenly funny on Instagram this year and then you put them on an O2 stage, they probably wouldn't know what they're doing. They might be funny on Instagram. They won't be ready. They're not seasoned. You know what I mean?
I feel like you're still big on comedy. Do you still write?
Me?
Yeah.
Not really. I always have concepts. I'm a creative person. Always a concept, but I don't.
I feel like if you actually sat down and wrote something, you might actually come up with a banging concept. I feel like you're good with that.
I have some concepts.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. What was Specs? We'll speak to Specs.
Cool. Specs. 99.5% mine. 0.5% you. And Amir gets travel and lunch.
Oh my days! Did we even get that at fucking Paddington?
Did we? I don't even remember. I don't think we did.
Were we fed?
Were we fed? I don't even remember.
Yo, we gotta go back to them, man.
Were we fed? I don't know. I don't think so. And they probably had mad funding as well. Yeah, but let's not go into all of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corruption within these projects and these youth.
What you told me earlier, I'm not gonna go off camera, but I will speak about it. That shocked me.
Yeah.
Like I was young at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize. Yeah, no wonder I didn't see you afterwards.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, fuck them.
Yeah. Are you allowed to swear in this?
Of course.
Oh, fuck. Fuckity fuck. So I didn't know, bro. I didn't know.
No, you can swear if you want.
I swear a lot, and I've been holding myself back a lot.
Until I reach 1,000 subscribers, then I will start bleeping swear words.
Oh, okay.
1,000. That's when you start monetization.
Oh wait, can you wait?
You can start getting P's once you get when you reach 1,000 subs.
Oh, okay, but if you can be demonetized for swearing.
Yeah,
Well, I guess certain brands don't want to be associated with swearing.
Yeah. So if an ad,
fuck them. Fuck them brands.
Hey, no.
For now, until you get 1,000.
I actually do need my sponsorship. Please do not listen to him. I am hungry right now. Okay, I need my bread buttered.
Wait, tuck your watch away. Your watch is showing slightly.
This was actually handmade in Baghdad.
You're not selling the I'm hungry too well right now with that watch and that. That nice shirt and that nice hat. You know what I mean? What I love in life is just like is natural and real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
me and you now, we're just having a natural conversation.
Usually I ppanic.
Oh, I swear.
I never plan my podcast.
Okay,
I always say it's a breeze. I know, like,
yeah.
I learned that from Monts. Monkwe. Do you know the comedian? Monkwe. So that
you
guy.
Show me about him, man. He's sick.
So his strategy is because he has a lot of people in his sketches.
Yeah.
Do you know what his secret is? Don't give them the script or tell them what the role's gonna be. Tell them on the day of filming.
That's a very good concept because a lot of things are naturally
After he said that on my podcast, let it be a breeze on the day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he gives me a script, I'll be overthinking too much. Am I saying it right? Am I?
People aren't as I don't know if it's the right word. Thickle. People aren't as thickle as you think. Like they can tell when something's forced, when something's scripted, or when something's unnatural. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people appreciate realness. Like me, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of like discussions. For instance, like one of my favorite podcasts is obviously one of the biggest one, Joe Rogan, and you can just see that he's just a real guy. Whether or not you agree or disagree with his opinions, you can tell that he's giving his genuine opinion. He's not forcing it. It's not script. He's just a guy having a discussion with people from all walks of life.
Whatever statement comes up,
it's natural. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of forced stuff these days, and there's a lot of like I don't know, fake pranks or fake this or forced this or scripted this or scripted that.
Does this podcast feel forced?
Clearly not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Good.
Wait, shall I read the script first? Wait, script says no.
Run back to page 3.
Page 3, forced section 5. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? I just like having a natural, real conversation with people. Do you know what I mean?
This has been such a chill podcast, man. I appreciate it.
Sorry if it wasn't comedic.
No. Do you know what?
People like to laugh. You know what I mean?
No. There's some good stuff in there, man. Don't worry.
I spoke about a lot of deep stuff today. You know what I mean? So yeah. Do you know what? Keep this in there as well. Yeah. I've spoke about a lot of deep subjects in this, and another deep subject is that specifically within this time. Well, throughout history, males don't like to talk about the situation that they're going through.
Yep.
When discussing deep subjects, I just want to remind people that, there's help out there. Speak about things, be open, don't suffer in silence, not just males, of course, females go through a lot of things as well. I discussed some deep subjects today. I'm normally a person that likes, my life, the way that I see my life is that I'm like 50% banter and I'm 50% serious. Even the stuff that I watch, I'm either watching deep documentaries or I'm watching comedies that make me laugh my ass off, you know what I mean? But, when discussing the deeper subjects, just people, there's help out there, whatever you're going through, whatever it is, you know what I mean? If it's depression, if it's self-harm, if it's whatever it is, there's help out there. Like, just don't suffer in silence, you know what I mean? There's people out there. Like, I'm just putting this disclaimer.
No, it's a good way to wrap up, man.
I know it's a bit. No.
It's a good way to wrap up. Don't worry.
But a lot of people suffer in silence, and they may listen to certain things, and they may just continue to suffer inside. They may be like, "Oh, I've been through that," or "I've suffered from that," but they won't reach out to nobody. Do you know what I mean? And even if you're not willing to reach out to an organization or something, reach out to someone that you trust, that you can speak to. You know what I mean? Like that's just something I wanted to.
No. It's good message. A good message to end on.
I don't like to leave people with a in a bad note, because things do get better. You know what I mean? No matter what you've been through. You know what I mean? I'm here. You're here. We've all got a story. We've all been through stuff. You know what I mean? I say, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
no.
one of my words.
No, I mean, not a lot of British people say that.
You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate you for coming on, man. That's a good way to end the message as well.
Yeah.
Anywhere to reach for like the youth centers and stuff? Any information or anything that people are suffering with, anything they can come to you and contact?
I mean, I'm not the expert in anything.
But signposting.
Yeah, like in terms of like, I don't know if you can put in the link maybe a few things.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe, okay, cool. Like in the link, my friend over here is gonna put,
hopefully he does reach out to a few people.
Hopefully a few general things, there's Samaritans, there's things like that, you know what I mean? Because I've discussed some deep subjects. We have discussed some deep subject today. As I said, don't suffer in silence, and there'll be people that are willing to help you, you know what I mean? If you do get hold of me somehow, I'm always willing to help people. That's just in my nature. And there's a lot of people that have that same thing, you know what I mean, that care, like my friend over here. Real recognize real, and I only keep real people around me, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
No worries.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Big up the director, cameraman.
Big up all the behind the scenes.
Entourage.
The entourage. The
groupies.
The groupies.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much.
Bro, love it.